Snow drifted lazily past the cafe windows, each flake glowing under the warm Christmas light strung along the glass. Inside, the air smelled of cinnamon, chocolate, and pine, but none of it lifted Emma's spirits. She sat alone at the small round corner table, her hands wrapped around a mug of hot chocolate that had long stopped steaming. The chair across from her was heartbreakingly empty, so much so that she couldn't stop glancing at it, hurting all over again. Her blind date had lasted exactly 9 minutes. He had walked in, scanned the room, spotted her, and she had seen the disappointment flick across his face even before he spoke. "Sorry," he'd said, adjusting his coat as if preparing to leave already. "You're just, not really what I pictured. I think I'll pass." And then he left. No chance. No conversation. Not even a polite attempt at kindness. Now, 20 minutes later, the sting lingered in her chest like a bruise. She tried to tell herself she didn't care, that this was just another failed date in a long list of disappointments. But being rejected on Christmas Eve felt unusually sharp, like the universe was reminding her how profoundly alone she was. Couples laughed at other tables, families passed plates of pie back and forth, and children played with little candy canes handed out by the barista. Emma watched them with a mix of longing and resignation. She pulled her scarf tighter, debating whether she should just go home. But outside was even colder and lonelier, and going back to her empty apartment felt like accepting defeat. At least here, she could pretend she was just someone enjoying a quiet night, not a woman licking fresh wounds. As she stared into her half-finished drink, a small shadow suddenly appeared beside her. Emma blinked and looked up. A little girl stood there, maybe 6 years old, wearing a bright pink puffy jacket and holding a stuffed reindeer whose ear was nearly worn off. Her big hazel eyes studied Emma intently, filled with curiosity and something almost like concern. Emma forced a small, polite smile. "Hello." The girl didn't smile back. Instead, she tilted her head. "Why are you sad?" The question hit her harder than the rejection had. Children had a way of slicing through pretense without even trying. Emma straightened, trying to sound cheerful. "I'm not sad. Just having a quiet Christmas Eve." The girl frowned as if she didn't believe a word. "My daddy says no one should be alone today. Even Santa has helpers." She stepped closer and whispered, as though sharing a secret, "Do you need a helper?" A laugh puffed out of Emma before she could stop it, small, but real. "That's very sweet of you. But where's your dad?" "I have Daddy," she said confidently. "But I don't have a mom." Emma's heart tightened, aching in a new way. She opened her mouth to respond, but a man's voice cut through the cafe. "Lily? Honey, where'd you go?" Emma turned just in time to see a man hurrying toward them, tall, handsome, worried, but relieved the moment he spotted the little girl. He scooped her gently into his arms, then looked at Emma with sincere apology. "I'm so sorry. She likes to wander. I hope she didn't bother you." Before Emma could answer, Lily pointed straight at her and announced loudly, with absolute certainty. "Daddy, I like her. Can she be my new mom?" The cafe seemed to exhale into stunned silence. Emma's breath hitched. The father froze. And little Lily clutched her stuffed reindeer as if she had just made the most important Christmas decision in the world. Daniel felt his face flush with shock, embarrassment, and something else he couldn't quite name. He opened his mouth to correct his daughter, but the words tangled on his tongue. Emma, equally stunned, sat frozen for a second before giving Lily a gentle, awkward smile. "It's okay," she murmured, trying to lighten the moment. "That's a very big question, sweetheart." But Lily only blinked up at her father as if she had simply stated a fact, not dropped a small emotional bomb in the middle of a crowded cafe. Daniel exhaled slowly and set Lily down, crouching beside her. "We don't ask people that, okay? It's not polite." "But she's nice," Lily insisted, arms folded, the stubborn confidence of a child who believed her heart was always right. And she's lonely. You said we should help lonely people. Daniel rubbed his forehead, both helpless and amused. He finally looked up at Emma, offering a shy, apologetic half-smile. Kids, they don't really have filters. Emma softened. It's all right. Honestly. He hesitated before speaking again. Would it help if I bought you a replacement Coco? Yours went cold. That's not necessary, she replied gently. But Lily tugged at Emma's sleeve. Stay with us. Please. Daddy gets lonely too. He misses Mommy. She said it in the same tone someone might comment on the weather, simple, true, and heartbreakingly innocent. Daniel's shoulders slumped just a bit, as though she had said something he tried so hard to carry privately. Emma's chest tightened. She could see the grief in his eyes now, quiet, deep, the kind that never fully leaves. I really am sorry, Daniel murmured. She lost her mother 2 years ago. Christmas is hard. The ache in Emma's chest grew heavier. She nodded slowly, sympathetically. It's okay. I understand hard Christmases. Lily tugged again, more insistent. Sit with us. Daddy said we shouldn't leave people alone today. Daniel hesitated, struggling between politeness and his daughter's stubborn sincerity. Emma looked at both of them, the small girl with hopeful eyes, and the tired father trying not to let sadness define the moment. She nodded softly. All right. I can sit for a little while. Lily beamed as if she had just saved Christmas itself. Within minutes, Daniel had ordered fresh drinks for all 3 of them, and they moved to a bigger table near the decorated tree in the corner. The lights reflected in Lily's eyes as she excitedly told Emma about her school, her stuffed reindeer's name, Sir Antlersworth, and how she wished Santa brought her someone to read bedtime stories again. Emma listened, smiling more than she had in weeks. Daniel watched her, something gentle growing behind his gaze. He hadn't expected anything tonight, not joy, not warmth, certainly not a stranger who could make his daughter laugh. But as he listened to Emma talk softly with Lily, he felt something unfamiliar, a flicker of hope. For the first time in a long while, none of them felt alone. The sky outside had deepened into a velvety winter blue by the time they left the cafe. Snowflakes drifted softly around them, catching in Lily's hair as she skipped ahead, swinging her stuffed reindeer with joyful energy. Daniel walked beside Emma, hands buried in his coat pockets, as if unsure whether he should speak or keep silently appreciating the moment. Thank you, he finally said, his breath forming a small cloud in the cold air. For staying. It meant a lot to her. Emma glanced at him. It meant a lot to me too. They followed Lily through the glowing Christmas market. Lanterns hung overhead like stars brought down to earth. Vendors offered warm pastries, handmade ornaments, small wooden toys. Lily darted from booth to booth, tugging Emma's hand every time she wanted to show her something new. Look, she shouted, pointing at a giant carousel. Can we ride? Please. Daniel hesitated, but Emma looked at him and smiled. Why not? It's Christmas. Soon, the 3 of them found themselves on a painted wooden reindeer. Lily squealed with laughter, holding tightly to Emma's arm as the carousel spun in slow, magical circles. Daniel sat across from them, watching the 2 with a look he hadn't worn in years, something soft, warm, alive. Afterward, they wandered to the big Christmas tree in the town square. Its golden lights cast a glow that made everything feel gentler, as though the night had wrapped the 3 of them in its own quiet blessing. Lily, exhausted from excitement, eventually crawled into her father's arms and rested her head on his shoulder, half asleep. Daniel's voice became quieter, more hesitant. You were wonderful with her tonight. She doesn't warm up to people like that. Not since. He paused. Emma didn't push. Since her mom passed, he finished softly. She's brave, but she still feels the empty spaces. Emma nodded, her heart tightening. Kids know more than we think. He gave her a small, almost timid smile. I didn't expect to meet anyone today. Definitely not someone who'd make her light up like that. Emma tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I didn't expect today to turn around at all. He shifted Lily gently in his arms, then looked directly at Emma, his voice sincere. I'd like to see you again. Not because of what Lily said. Not because she wants a mom. But because I haven't felt this in a long time. Emma felt something flutter inside her, something she thought she'd lost, the feeling of being seen, wanted, chosen. Before she could respond, Lily stirred and mumbled sleepily, Daddy, hold her hand, she's part of us now. Daniel's breath caught. Emma's eyes softened. Slowly, as if afraid the moment might break, he reached out his free hand. She met it halfway. Their fingers intertwined easily, naturally. A quiet warmth spread through her chest, melting places she thought were frozen forever. Under the shimmering Christmas lights, Daniel leaned in, gently brushing his lips against hers in a soft, hesitant kiss. It wasn't rushed or bold, just full of gratitude and possibility. When they pulled back, Lily, eyes still closed, whispered, See? I told you she's our Christmas wish. Emma rested her head lightly on Daniel's shoulder as they walked together through the snow. For the first time in years, three hearts, once lonely, moved in the same direction, toward the same future. A family, forming gently in the glow of a winter night.